and welcome to the Lollygaggers podcast.
Hey, Dave.
What?
Dave,
Yes.
we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Streaming live.
I know.
Okay. Didn't know. Didn't know that was part of the plan. Sorry.
Well, that's what the intro sounds like.
Okay. I mean, like, we're streaming live on YouTube.
Oh, we're not streaming live on YouTube. We're just recording this.
No, we are streaming live on YouTube right now.
No, we're not. Like, I don't have a stream going at all. Like, our game, our StarCraft game is streaming, but we're not streaming.
Oh, okay.
That's what that is.
I was just checking.
Well, it's good. Good for keeping your eye out.
Here it is right here. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I was just
You were just giving us free. It's okay. You're giving us free advertising for our StarCraft stream that we do every weekend on Saturday and potentially Friday. So thank you for that plug, that shameless plug. Check is in the mail. So, as I said, welcome to the podcast. I'm David the Fox. Tony?
I am Tony, the goat with the most.
Yeah. And how about who's that guy?
I'm Mike the Panda.
Alrighty. So we got a pretty fun podcast for today. I figure, we talk about a lot of like kind of pop culture-y stuff, kind of modern stuff. And I thought it'd be nice to go back and, think about some of the stuff that kind of gives us a little bit of inspiration, a little bit of that good old right in the heart, the feelings that you get. So, and I don't know about you guys, I'm a pretty big fan of anime and manga. I do live in Japan, of course, but I've been watching that kind of stuff since middle school, and there are certain shows that if I watch them, or even if I just hear the intro music, it'll rile me up. Like, if I watch, 5 minutes of some shows, I have the energy that I can get up and go do housework and stuff, and it just kind of gets my blood pumping. So do either of you guys watch, anime shows or any TV shows that kind of get your blood pumping?
I've watched a few. What about you, Mike?
All the time.
All right. All right. Well, hey, Mike. What's your show like? If you had one anime to say, hey, watch this show, it'll grip you, it'll give you the feelings, what would it be?
Well, the anime that I recommend to everybody would probably be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
All right.
I think that's a good place to start.
Why does that show tug on your heartstrings as it does?
Well, it's about two boys who lost their mother due to a tragic illness, and so they're trying to figure out how to get her back, and then they end up just making things worse, and kind of their struggle to get back to normal.
Okay. Well, why is the show good? Because there are a lot of dramatic shows out there. There are tons of oh, my mom and dad died, so I gotta go on this journey. Is it just dramatic, or are there funny bits, or how is it?
There's a lot of funny parts. There's also drama, and then there's also a little bit of mystery and conspiracy, and then you got a lot of really good action scenes too.
Okay.
It's got a lot of stuff.
So it's got a good mix of a little bit of everything. Like the main character, there's a little bit of levity in between all the downtime, and then when the action really picks up, there's the drama and all. Okay, it's got a good mix of it. All right. Now, Forgive me for saying this, but that's kind of reminded me of a show that I watched fairly recently. A lot of people suggested this to me. It's One Punch Man. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
All right. And forgive me for saying this, but I think One Punch Man, for those of you who don't know, is about a superhero who is the world's strongest superhero. He wins every fight in one punch. That's why he's got the name One Punch Man and all that. And
That's I gotta cut you. That's the basis of the show. Is he can punch somebody out in one punch. That's
right,
it.
that's the whole thing. That's the biggest premise of the show. That's who he is. But the thing that I like about it is there's a good amount of humor. There's a lot of build up to every single fight he's in. And it's not so much about
one punch, right?
It's not so much about whether he's going to win or lose. It's whether he will be recognized as the hero. Like, we know how strong he is, but nobody else knows who he is. In that world, there are famous superheroes. Superheroes are a dime a dozen. There are a million of them, actually. And they have their own organization, and they have their ranking system. CBAS. S is the most powerful. And this guy is so unknown, he doesn't even register. All right? So, matter of fact, every time he beats somebody, generally, someone else will get the credit. So, it does a good job of building up every single fight so that we want him to be recognized by everybody. Will it happen? Will it not happen? Because the question is not whether he'll win the fight, generally. And then you also get to see kind of the sadness of the character, because it is sad. He worked so hard to be the strongest superhero on the planet. Now he can't. There's no challenge. There is zero challenge to the guy. So,
well, I got one question.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen this anime at all. Is this like any other typical anime where he saves the one punch as the last move and then does that?
No.
Okay.
Usually the bad guy will monologue for about 15 seconds about how they're the strongest thing, and there's no way for them to be hurt, and he just kind of walks up, taps them in the face, they die. And the back of their head explodes.
Well, sometimes he'll let the bad guy get some shots in first.
Yeah, well, he tries to test the limits of it. He's like, oh, I want this to actually be fun. Try to get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. And I'm not ruining the show, by the way. The fun part about this show is I haven't spoiled anything by giving you this synopsis. No fight in this whole thing has been spoiled at all. Story-wise, you could go in this and it would still be the same story. That's how good it is. But I would submit that One Punch Man and Full Metal Alchemist are both, at least the characters that you want to win, are built up in a similar way, and that's why you get the feeling. What do you think, Mike?
How so?
Well,
how are they similar?
Well, I've seen a little bit of Full Metal, and I know that Alphonse is he's got some levity bits in there where he makes jokes, and he's kind of the butt of the joke a lot of the time, but there's a good amount of humor in the downtime, and same with One Punch Man. They have a good balance of humor there. And we know, at least at the beginning of Full Metal, we know how good the main characters are at alchemy, which is the magic of the show. We know how good they are, but the rest of the characters in the show don't. So when they finally show up to do the exam, we're like, oh, finally there's that fun little bit of, we're invested in that character now. And I would believe that One Punch Man, with most of their characters, they do a good job. And there's also mystery for for Full Metal, as well as One Punch Man. Because there's a villain in there, but you're figuring out as the show goes on that the heroes are not good. They're not necessarily bad, but they're not necessarily good. And you don't know who we're believing here. Who's actually a good guy, who's actually a bad guy. And who are these other characters they haven't really revealed yet? And with Full Metal, there's a good mystery of who did what, obviously, but there's also that whole building to new bad guys. I believe the homunculus are the bad guys in Full Metal, if I'm not mistaken. And you're trying to figure out... What's that?
Can I interrupt?
Go for it.
You're basically describing like the main outline for every story ever.
Well, yeah,
like,
but...
So of course they're going to be similar in kind of that respect.
Right, but where...
But I believe that like the actual character themselves are very different personality-wise and their motivations.
Well, why don't you tell me about the motivations, then? Why am I wrong?
Okay, well, I mean, Saitama from One Punch Man, his motivation is to kind of... Well, at first he started out like he wanted to be a hero and become the strongest one, but then he finally achieves that, and then he realizes that it's pretty boring when there's no challenge in life. So he's trying to kind of find a challenge to give him purpose. Whereas Edward and Alphonse from Full Metal, they've basically wrecked their lives, and they're trying to like kind of fix it so that they can like move on and return to being like normal people.
Okay. Now, I would argue, now, of course, their motivations are different, but the techniques to get us invested in those main characters, I would say, are very similar. I'm not saying their motivations are different or the same. I'm saying that whoever wrote the story used a very similar technique to get us invested in the good guys. By showing this fragility. Now, for Full Metal, it's really in your face of how fragile they are, because they're basically kids and they get maimed, and we can kind of see how to emotionally connect to them. That's very good. But for Saitama, for One Punch Man, or as he's known for everybody else, One Punch Man, they do a great job at showing his emotional connection to us too, because even though he is not physically vulnerable at all, because he's the strongest guy in basically the universe, there's still an emotional fragility there, because now he's alone. Right. And those two brothers, now they're not alone because they have each other, but they're essentially in that same boat too. Wouldn't you agree?
Right.
So in those respects, they are very similar, and the techniques they use to get us invested are quite similar. Okay?
I mean, again, it kind of sounds like the kind of technique that a lot of people use to get you invested in their characters, because if you have a relatable flaw that doesn't like make them outright unlikable, then it makes them more relatable. So like Edward is like a hothead,
right?
But it makes him, but it's not like so bad that you don't like him for it. And then Saitama is just kind of, I don't know, just kind of miserable, I guess. But like you can relate to it in a way because his life is just kind of mundane.
Right, but now you and I are talking about this, and you're saying like, oh, it's so obvious. But there are hundreds, if not thousands, of shows out there, both anime and not, that don't know how to do that. Like they try to. They do something that resembles building interest in the character, but they completely miss the mark. We'll get into that later. But hey, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Now your I guess experience with anime and all that isn't as broad as Mike and myself, but is there any show that you like to watch, like anime, manga style, that kind of tugs at your heart?
Well, I have three that I do like.
All right, well, bring up the one.
Bring up Neon Genesis Evangelion.
All right. Why does that get you going?
It seems like an actual movie in the series that I would watch over time, unlike the Fast and the Furious,
Right.
where you can make that many sequels to everything else and they actually tie in, and the end plot is actually there. And it's not one of the movies. The movies that I hate the most are the ones that you can guess the endings to.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't like that. I want to be surprised.
Right. Okay. So can you give me an overview of like the main characters of Evangelion? Because I've never seen it. Like
Well,
I live in Japan. Evangelion's giant, obviously, but I have never seen it.
well, I don't even actually know the name of the characters in the movie.
That's
It's
perfectly
been
fine.
that long.
That's perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
it's been that long. But it's
I know the
basically about
characters.
It's
a kid that comes to realization where they recruit him, saying you can pilot one of these big, huge robotic dudes. They actually make it difficult where you only got a certain amount of time in these things because of power, which is completely understandable. I like that aspect of it. Is like they set a realistic thing. It's like, we're going to power this big, huge mech. Where do you get the power from? Well, you got to have an umbilical cord hooked up to it, and if you don't, you only got 1 minute. That's how much
Okay.
power it burns.
Okay.
I like that.
That sounds
It-
cool. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
that
it
sounds
sets
like
some.
that sounds like the not the anti, but it sounds kind of like an answer to the Gundam, because Gundam is huge too. But those things run non-stop. They're giant robots as well. It sounds like Evangelion is a bit of a deconstruction, if you will, of the giant robot genre, which sounds good.
Well, I like it because it puts stuff in realistic terms. Like, okay, what's powering this thing?
Right,
It
that
runs off
sounds really cool.
batteries.
So
You got to have.
tell me about the main character, the main boy. How do they kind of get you invested in him?
Well, the main boy is kind of a guy where he doesn't have a lot of confidence. He has nothing else to that. I mean, pretty much the whole movie, it's like a whole struggle with his confidence. And when he gets confidence, towards the end of it, he kind of fucks up pretty big time.
Oh, okay. Well, how
And
old is he?
he's a young kid, about 13. I think they're 12, 13, 14 years old. So,
Okay,
Yeah, about that range.
okay. Yeah,
yeah.
this really does sound like kind of like whoever made this was kind of solving the problem that Gundam used to have. Because I watched Gundam Wing, and Mike did too. Gundam Wing when we were in middle school, and those pilots were all 15 years old. There were 5 of them, and all of them were like, for the first half of the show at least, they were all emotionally stable. They were the best pilots. They never really lost. They got tricked a few times, but really they were the ultimate soldier, and they were never scared to do anything. And most of them try to blow themselves up because they're such badasses. But this actually sounds like it's a realistic teenager who gets a giant robot by accident.
Yeah, and not to mention, here's one of the things where I don't remember the kid's name, but the main kid,
Shinji.
the whole is his name Shinji?
Yeah.
Yeah, his dad is the one that runs the whole thing, and he has high expectations where mounted on his not having confidence. Now his dad is telling him, "Bam, you're doing this. Have fun and don't disappoint me."
Okay, well, cool. All right.
It's
Yeah.
Well,
It really messes with their heads.
that sounds really cool. Like that's something that I I have some time coming up after a bit, so I might actually take the time to watch that. So I'll find the
I
time
would. I mean,
and watch that.
I don't get into too many anime flicks. I
Mhm.
only have like 3 or 4 that I've watched. But that is, I would say, if you want character development, it's got it for you.
Okay. Okay.
If you want action, it's got it for you. There's even a point, I think Mike would even back me up to this. It's called the Hot episode, where they're running out of money, where they actually had one of the main characters put their hands over his mouth so they didn't actually have to voice in his mouth movements and just do dialogue
Oh, that's
just
funny.
to save money.
I think they did have budget problems during production.
Yeah. So I mean, you can kind of tell where the budget problems started to happen, but they work with it very well. I mean, they
Yeah, it
worked with it
doesn't
as
really
very well
detract.
as they worked with it good as well as Deadpool did, um,
All
and
right.
made it work.
Well,
I mean, it's good.
you sold me on that. You sold me. All right. By the way, have you guys? Now we're talking about more classic anime. Now we're kind of getting over there. Now there is a show that I would argue is now classic anime.
I do have one question for you both about
Yeah, go for it.
classic and new age anime as far as the actual animation goes, because I've noticed a difference between Neon Genesis Evangelion and like say something like you get in your newer who's that Pikachu Pokemon kind of
Pokemon,
thing
yeah.
where yeah you get different animation styles. Is that kind of something that you guys pay attention to?
I kind of do,
Yeah.
but the way I like to look at it is if the story has enough balls, I don't give a shit what it looks like.
One of these artists that I follow on YouTube, he says that anime has like a kind of an inbreeding problem. Like everybody copies everybody else. So as like the time goes on, someone will come out with a new style that like everybody else likes, and they'll kind of start to copy it.
Right.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's my biggest question right there. Is like, I mean, there's a comparison with, and like you said it right there in the statement that I want to hear is like artists, because these guys are artists. I mean,
Right.
you can't go to America and find animation like this as far as in a Saturday morning cartoon, and those things don't even exist anymore.
Right.
But it's a matter of you can't find the detail of animation just for one episode, the old school stuff compared to detail with this, and I just see an evolution of just drawing. And I don't know if it's, I almost put it as like a live stream comic book on TV is what they essentially have done. Which
Right. Well, what I'm trying to say to your point there is for the one that I've been talking about, One Punch Man. What they'll do is they have a really, really good artist. I don't know the names of any people. I'm really sorry for those of you who do know them. If you'd like to put them in the comments, please by all means do so. But the artwork, the there are actually different styles of artwork in One Punch Man, and the way they use them is really, really clever. Because what will happen is in a normal scene, it'll just be like it'll look like a guy, and it's pretty good detail. It's not bad, not great. And then when it gets to like a really badass fight scene, the detail goes up about 1,000% once you get to like a really dramatic picture. The funny part happens where they start to shift the humor. Whenever something really, really funny happens, they completely downgrade the art style to like he's a stick figure who's telling a joke, and it really adds to the feel of the comedy. So
okay,
I love that little detail.
right, like
I guess that's not a little detail.
well, it's a nice little characteristic.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. Let's see.
See, I think we were talking about classics.
Right. Thank you.
well that's I still want to kind of like hit on that as far as the artwork goes, where the evolution of the artwork.
Right.
That's what I'm the most curious about. Where I see, I mean, even if you go back in the, let's say you go back to the '90s, and at one point there was a big crossover to a new style. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. It was they started putting 3D animation in there, and nowadays there is actually they redid the show Berserk. I don't know if you know this, but it's basically a show about the absolute most badass fighter way back in the feudal era of whatever land this is in. It's got fairies and all the monsters and demons and whatnot. The original version of it is so good. If you read the manga, you can see just how fearsome. That's the only way I can describe it, is fearsome. The art styling is. It's so detailed, and you can look at one picture. You don't have to read Japanese. You look at that picture, and you can tell exactly what you're in for off of one picture. It's so good. The only way they could depict it is by completely downgrading it on 2D. Fine.
Because it's one of the deals where my first anime that I ever saw is because a girlfriend I was hanging around with, I was 16 years old or whatever, and she's you gotta watch Fist of the North Star.
That was inspired. Okay, the Berserk was inspired by Fist of the North Star. Very similar.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the artwork in general, from what I saw, was really nothing like I've seen in my mind at that point. What I thought was a cartoon.
Right. It was geared towards adults.
Right, which kind of it got me. I don't even remember the story plot. I don't remember. I actually didn't even agree to watch it, and I watched about 15 minutes of it, and I really wasn't into it. But I was fascinated by the artwork in itself.
Right.
How different it was.
Well, if you want to get into that stuff, because at that point in time, a lot of those anime and stuff were trying to be more geared towards like men who wanted to be badass. Like basically, Fist of the North Star was inspired by what the hell? Fuck! It's completely escaping me. Oh, Thunderdome.
Oh, Mad Max? Thunderdome?
Yes, Mad Max. Fist of the North Star was based off of Mad Max.
Okay.
But if you get over into a little bit later, you start to find a new type of power fantasy, and that's where the show Dragon Ball gets in.
You're right.
Where you have a little more of a
That's one I've watched too,
that.
which I really enjoyed.
Right. And I'm not talking about Dragon Ball Z yet. Dragon Ball was the kid version of Goku, and he basically...
Right, yeah, I watched that one too.
Yeah, that's really fun. And actually, let's transition over to Dragon Ball Z real fast. I know it's a bit of a hard transition, but it's not a smooth one at all in any stretch of the imagination, but I really want to talk about Dragon Ball Z because...
You know what, Dave? I'm the GOAT, and I say it's a smooth transition because they're all animated.
Well, as long as you say so. Everybody, so you guys know, Tony is my moral compass because I don't have one.
That sounds like a bad idea.
I don't have east on my compass, so we're all good.
Yeah, that's perfect. Like, well, I mean, Mike, I don't have a moral compass, so at least Tony has one.
If you say so.
What do you mean, Mike?
I don't want to say anymore.
All right.
I don't have a moral compass.
You know, you guys just do you.
What the?
You'll figure it out.
Hey, you know, I think we're doing pretty well. All right, we got this far.
Whatever, man. I got a compass.
Hey,
I'm
Tony.
sorry. I know I shouldn't judge.
Tony, am I morally correct right now?
I think you could be right now.
So there, Mike. Suck it. All right. By the way, Tony, is it moral to shout "suck it" at Mike for this?
Maybe 30 seconds from now.
Okay. All right. Well, in 30 seconds, you be ready, mister, because it's coming. So let's get over into Dragon Ball Z. Suck it. There it is. And we've been talking about
that was
like
15. That was 15. That was premature.
God damn it. I'm sorry, Mike. I really am.
That was a premature suck it.
It's whatever.
I'm really sorry. According to Tony, that was morally inferior.
Yes, that was a premature suck it.
I would like to make it up with you to you, but I can't find my desire to do so, and I can't get around that. So, sorry.
A little bit more west, buddy. A little bit more west.
Okay. Anyway, let's get on to Dragon Ball Z. Let's go on Dragon Ball Z because that's kind of in the middle of everything we're talking about. It's got a good amount of humor, a lot of humor into it, a lot of detail depending on where you go. They did really fun stuff for budgetary reasons. They have main characters that you want to be invested in. You like these characters for the most part. We'll get into some detail later. And I would say Dragon Ball Z. I'm getting really specific with everybody out there. Dragon Ball Z, to me, is one of the more perfect versions of the classic-ish anime style. I'm not even gonna. Don't even get me fucking started on GT and Super. It's not gonna happen. We're just gonna put those to the side. Okay?
Yeah, I'll agree on that.
We're just gonna pretend they don't exist for a moment.
They don't exist. All right. So, let's see here. So y'all don't know, if you've never heard of Dragon Ball Z, it's a story about a guy who figures out he was an alien, and let's see here.
I wouldn't say a guy. I would say a kid.
Okay, well, he's like...
I would say a kid.
Okay,
Are we gonna start with Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
We'll go with Dragon Ball Z, because we're kind of getting into like the whole fun action stuff with a little bit of humor. It has very similar ties in with, at least the way it feels. It's a completely...
I would even at that point say Goku is still a kid too.
Oh yeah, he was 18, like when it started.
No, I mean like just over the whole thing, he's a kid.
Well, yeah, I guess he's a man-child, kinda.
Yeah, I gotta.
Yeah, pretty much.
Definitely say that.
Like so everybody knows the overall feel of it is, all right. As a baby, he was sent to Earth, or their version of Earth, because his planet was about to explode for reasons later. He gets there, and he's supposed to, as a baby, take over the whole planet because he's a powerful alien. When the moon shows, he turns into a giant ape, and he's supposed to fuck everything up, and basically kill everything on the planet. But
until he did what?
Until he hit his head, turning him into an eternal retard, and he is retarded. His mind, he is mentally retarded. So everybody knows now. I'm an English teacher.
No. How they stopped him from turning to an ape ever again? They cut off his tail.
Let me do this. The word retard is not offensive. It just means to slow something down. If you retard energy, you slow down the energy. Okay? So his brain...
We'll change the English dictionary on you. Don't worry. Buddy,
his brain was retarded because he fell into a ravine and bashed his head open and almost died. So basically, he turned into a retard. Alright, that being said, he's a powerful fighter, and he's really good, and he's a fun guy. He's pure, because he's got no real, no real negative energy, or no negative thoughts, or something like that.
We still have to, Dave, we still have to address the whole fact of how, when the full moon comes on up, he doesn't turn into a werebeast.
Well, he surgically had his tail removed, because his tail used to turn
Master
into...
Yoshi simply chopped it off, dude.
No, that was the first time. It grew back.
Okay.
As Dragon Ball happened, it would grow back, and he had it surgically removed between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, so that wouldn't matter.
Okay.
And he didn't do that for the moon's sake. He didn't know that the moon turned him into an ape, because when he turned into an ape, he would lose the memory of doing so. He removed his tail because it was his weakness. If you grabbed his tail, he'd lose power.
Okay.
So that's why he had it removed from Dragon Ball Z. In theory, I think they had it removed just so they didn't have to animate the tail anymore.
I think it's so they didn't have to deal with the whole movie.
And that's why they gave him the blonde hair when he turned Super Saiyan.
Oh, is that right?
Just so they didn't have to fill in his hair anymore.
I guess it would save on ink too, so that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Because like the manga is black and white, so that's...
Hey, you're more powerful. You dyed your hair. Good job, sir. Bench press this bus.
Yeah.
So everybody knows I'm actually blonde-haired and blue-eyed, so when I showed up to school on the first day, I just told everybody I turned Super Saiyan for the day. But my point is, this show is one of the... I would say it's one of the perfect power fantasy shows ever. Like,
yeah.
West,
East.
I
would put it definitely up there in the kids range as far as like you can let your kid watch it as far as the American version goes because they've edited it down pretty well. Master Roshi was pretty much a dirty old man.
Right, but you know the thing is, I like about the show is they don't apologize for that shit. They let that character be the character. In Japan, it's not edited at all. They let that go. He is a pervert the whole time.
Yeah,
well, I wish I would.
Dragon Ball kind of started out as like a more of a slapstick style comedy,
right.
So he was like a really comedic character.
Right. So the show was basically a comedy with action bits in there. And that's what made it awesome. And Dragon Ball Z kind of slanted more towards the action with comedy bits in there.
Do you think Master Roshi was more or less of a American kind of type figure in it, where you know what I mean? Like Master Roshi would be more American, where everyone's like not American.
No, I think he was just a dirty old man because they do that like that type of character is an archetype in Japan. There are dirty old lechers, and that's their character, and there are probably dirty old men here too. Dirty old men exist everywhere. Okay. Also, so anybody knows, dirty old women are there too. There are lecherous women in existence. They do exist. They have hit on me. It does happen. Okay? In Japan.
They're just better at hiding it.
Right. Like, they'll hide it, and it sounds sweet because they're old ladies like, oh, look how handsome you are, just pinch your cheek. They're not talking about my face.
Oh, whatever. They're probably going like, could you help me across the road, Sonny?
No, they legitimately...
If I hold your ass to get over side of there.
They're legitimately like, oh, you're such a handsome man, I wish I had you, blah, 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 blah. They don't grab my dick or anything, which I guess is the difference, but, you know, right up near it.
So, is that a cougar, or what is that a cougar, or, because...
I think that would be what it's called.
That would be like a gray minx.
Gray minx. All right, we're getting off topic here.
Oh yeah,
where
sure. Also known as Gray Panther, depending on where you are.
Your compass being you're being guided here.
Sorry about that, everybody. I'm morally inferior according to my spiritual guide over there. So let's get back on topic. Dragon Ball Z is wonderful because they know how to raise the stakes in a nice crescendo.
Well, that's one of the funny things I've recognized from any anime flick, really, as far as action goes, is let's bring out our smallest weapon that we have, a pea shooter, and then we'll bring out our big, huge bazooka sun blaster that will annihilate the whole planet.
Right, now that does happen. That does happen, but Dragon Ball Z actually presents it in a logical way. Okay, so for example, if I'm going to go, the one that everybody can sink their teeth in is Namek. If you don't know this bit, you go watch it because I'm not going to censor myself. Sorry. But Namek, they start out with Gohan and Krillin on Namek with Bulma. They went ahead of Goku, who was healing from the fight with Vegeta and Nappa. So they already start out weaker. And they're good enough at hiding their power levels that the planet trade can't find them with their scouters. That's established on Earth before they even get there, right? So then they'll go around the planet and helping these Namekians who help them because they figure these guys are better than the planet trade who's killing them all. Then they find, what's his name? What's his name, Mike? The big fucker?
Nappa?
The big Namekian guy.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
I don't know what his name was.
Guru. Guru, got it. Guru.
Yeah.
His name is literally Guru, so it's not hidden at all. They find the big leader of the Namekians, and he unhides their potential. He releases their hidden potential. Their mind is blocking stuff. So like, oh man, you guys are badasses. And then he even says to Gohan that there is some fucking power in that kid. So that way later when he gets this huge power boost, it's not illogical. It is there. They sow the seeds perfectly.
Right. It's fairly common to where like they'll go off and train for a while to get strong enough to
Right.
fight the bad guy too.
Right, that does
It
happen.
doesn't just like come out of nowhere.
Yeah, like when Goku
And
goes
not to mention how Goku trains his son is he just beats the shit out of him for a year.
Yeah,
Literally.
basically.
Beats the shit out of him for a year. I found that quite hilarious.
Right. Well, that's how you learn it.
Well, it was time to fight, Gohan. It's like, no, I don't want to. You keep beating me up. It's like,
So you mean with Piccolo?
That was Piccolo, yeah.
yeah. Same with Piccolo. It's like, I'm gonna call social services on your ass.
Like, oh yeah, fucking try it. I'll kill everyone. Like at that point, Piccolo was still on the fence of being a bad guy. So like you don't know if he's gonna kill him or not. So
yeah, that I like that one story here.
yeah,
too,
that's really good. But back to Namek, why it's so good. And then they ramp up, and then they finally fight the Ginyu Force, who are these elite badasses who show up, and they fight the weakest guy first because they're like, "Oh yeah, we're so strong, we wanna." It's classic. Like they're trying to stretch the story out as long as they possibly can. That's
I love the
reason.
Ginyu Force, dude. I love the Ginyu Force.
Everybody
They
loves
had
the
to
Ginyu Force.
pose before they had to kill anyone.
Ginyu Force was
They had
fun.
to pose.
Yeah, the minute they got to the planet, you knew who they were. You loved them for what they were. They were not good. They were bad. They were cheesy, and they fucking knew it.
And they posed. I think that's where poser came from.
Right, right. So if you're a poser, you're just trying to be Captain Ginyu.
Right.
Right. But then they had them fight one at a time, and even when they fought the weakest guy, Coom, I believe is his name. Maybe I'm wrong. The green guy. They fought.
Yeah. I forget. They really didn't have that many fights.
Well, his ability was that he could stop people. He could freeze time if he held his breath. So, but it was funny because they mixed in a little of that drama and the comedy at the same time. Because he's like, haha, I'm going to beat you by holding my breath. But he was out of shape, so he couldn't hold his breath for very long. So,
right.
And as soon as he let his breath go, they'd be on his ass. So they built those fights so well. And then even Vegeta, who was a bad guy, and in the tweener stage, he wasn't good yet, and he was still kind of on his own.
I would still put Vegeta as a bad guy.
At that time, yes.
Yeah.
He was still on the bad guy.
I'm still, even to this day, in time, I'd put Vegeta as a bad guy.
Really?
I would. I would say that right now.
I would put him as a reluctant good guy.
No, I would say he just knows he doesn't have the one up on Goku.
Well, that's just selfish. That's not bad. That's just him looking out for. But then that's in the Buu saga where he kind of goes evil, but he also makes the ultimate sacrifice to try to stop. He's like, oh yeah, I fucked up. So
well, at that point, Vegeta recognized that Goku had the higher signature power level.
Well, it wasn't the power level thing. Okay, yeah, he does go bad because he wants to be as powerful as Goku. Then he sees what he did wrong. He sees the mistake he made, and then to make up for it, he sacrifices himself.
He only did that because he knew Goku was going to come there and pretty much.
No, crap. I think he was thinking about his son.
Yeah, he was trying to save Trunks. He was trying to save his family. That's power. That's a redemption right there, good sir. That is not bad. That is good. So at the very
I don't know. I would still say if they made an episode these days with Vegeta in it, where Vegeta had an upper hand to be more powerful than Goku, then shit would be on.
Okay,
he would be.
Now I'm not arguing. Goku. Yeah, Vegeta's an asshole. He's a dick. I'm not arguing that at all. He's a dick, but he's a dick who generally does the thing that would land on the good side of the spectrum. Yes.
Well, he's got Prince blood in him, so therefore he wants to take care of majority of the people.
Right. So,
I can maybe go with that, but his father was a horrible dictator at the same time.
Right, but if your dad killed a dude, do I have to arrest you now?
No, it's one of them deals where I honestly think, and this is the only where it's going to go for, is if I think Vegeta think he had the upper hand on Goku, and with a power level or whatever, he could easily beat him, he would take it.
Okay, well,
and he would do it.
then let's say at
they
the
are
very
rivals.
least, he's an anti-hero. Can we say that? You root
Yeah.
for the guy even if his intentions are not the best.
Okay, I'll give you that, I guess.
Okay, there you got it. But that's why this show is so good, because they give you so much stuff. They build so well from threat to threat. Now, there are some spots when they get in, like, I don't know, I would say after the Cell Saga, they kind of get a little bit squirrely with the power boosts.
Oh, you missed over one there, buddy.
I know
the
the
Frieza
Cell Saga.
Frieza, that... All I gotta say about the Frieza Saga was that was the longest battle ever.
Yes, it was, but it was not illogical at all.
No,
Well,
it wasn't.
They tried to drag it out because they wanted the manga to kind of
Right,
put out more chapters.
They were trying to get the manga to catch up with it. So, like, I remember, you guys remember, there's the episode where he's charging the Spirit Bomb. He's like, "Come on,
yeah.
Spirit Bomb!" And it's going for
the
a
whole
half
3
hour.
episodes.
They recycle the same 5 shots about 1,000 times in that one episode. Oh, it's so good. It's so good in every way. If anybody wants a master class on how to stretch a budget and how to kill for time, you watch that Namek saga and the Frieza saga. Watch those. That is the best I can ever tell you.
For a guy that had to go buy each saga on VHS, no, that was bullshit.
Oh, well, that's where it was your fault, because we watched on television.
That was some BS. I watched it before it was even available. I had to order the crap and get it ordered into a bookstore to watch it on VHS compared to in the morning time where it's actually on there and you can actually watch it on Cartoon Network or whatever.
It wasn't in the morning. It was on at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Toonami.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like I couldn't do that.
No,
I was way before that.
Sucks to be you, I guess, or I guess it sucked to be you. Like anyway, but that's a show that I love, and it's fantastic. I think we can all agree that is one of the peaks of that type of show. Now let's get into. There's one show in particular, and I was going to rant about this no matter what happened. I was going to find a way to segue to me just tearing this fucking show to pieces. All right.
Hey, David.
Yes.
Are there any shows you don't like?
Hey, thanks, Mike. Yes, there's one show
Can
there.
Can I do one before you that you guys haven't heard of?
Okay, go for it. Yeah, you got one.
It's called Vanguard.
Okay.
It's very comical and funny. Basically, the whole story, the premise is you find it out in the first episode. So I'm not really ruining anything for you. There's a planet full of women. There's a planet full of men, and they've never met the opposite sex before.
Ah, okay.
And basically, the men are out there and they get stranded or whatever, and the women rescue them. And they literally think they're aliens.
I see.
And they find out that to run a Vanguard, you need a man and a woman present, which they've been idly in the whole storage bay or whatever, and then they have to go fight different things. But it's to see the development between them actually picking up on, like, oh, they're actually not aliens, and I'm attracted to him or her is weird. I gotta fight this. And it's really hilarious about the whole slapstick comedy with the sexuality with it. It's really hilarious.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, those are some of the shows that, or some of the episodes even in between shows where I think that's where some of the funniest stuff happens. Like, who the fuck is this? Hey, and then wait, now I have to ask you, who was the first one to realize they wanted to fuck something? Was it a guy or a girl?
It was a girl, actually.
Really? Okay. See, now
Yep.
that's where it would have subverted my expectations, because to me, you know, if we have no women around us and we're all just like, man, this fucking sucks, except for like the 5% of gay dudes are like, man, this is awesome. Like we're all like, man.
Well, it wasn't even that. I mean, they don't get the whole like how they reproduce or whatever. But
Right.
from what I understand is they do genetically and they don't just whatever.
Right, but I mean, even still, you would grow up your entire life without noticing what a sexual drive is, unless you're a homosexual, obviously, on either side. And then you would go to space and see, like, now what is it? Why do I want to fuck that? What is this fucking? What is this thing I want to do to you that I don't really know?
That's the whole part of it too, where it comes with awkward scenes and awkward things where it's just like one of them will fall on each other. Of course, it's scripted or whatever.
Yeah.
Because, well, it's scripted. And they'll fall on top of each other face to face and be like, I think at even 1.2 was like, "Are you going to eat me now?" and it was a matter of like, it wasn't meant in that way, but it was a matter of like, he's on top of her and she thinks that he's actually going to eat her as a meal.
Right. Now I wasn't going to take the innuendo. I understand that innuendo is there. Thank you for clarifying.
Right.
But that sounds wonderful. And all these shows that we are liking and all these have wonderful, rich characters that have built up investment. We like them because they're relatable. There are good things. Even a show like Dragon Ball Z or One Punch Man, where it raises the stakes high enough, but you can still understand there's a threat. These guys could die. Sometimes they do die. Now,
you know what's really funny is
Yes.
I looked up your One Punch guy there.
Yeah.
On YouTube as we were talking here, and it's not exactly what I thought about in my head what he would look like.
Yeah, he's bald.
I thought One Punch guy would be a big, huge, bulky guy that can't move around, and he'd stick out his finger and boom.
Right.
And the clip that I saw was some guy coming down to attack him, and One Punch Man, skinny old lanky dude, puts up his fist, and the guy lands his particulars, his swimsuit area, on his fist.
Yep.
And then he pulls back his fist, ready to go, like, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't really mean to do that."
Yeah.
And the guy's just like,
half
and his face is like, "Oh."
Half the time with One Punch Man, he gets into fights accidentally. He's like, "Oh, sorry guys, I didn't mean to interrupt your like group or whatever." And they're like, "Who the fuck are you?" And then they want to fight him. He's like, "Oh, I don't want. I'm just trying to go to the grocery store." That's why it's so funny. But all these shows have these kinds of like investment areas. Now, there's one show that I'm going to rant about. Give me about 5 minutes and then stop me, because if you don't, I will.
Tell you what, I'm gonna go fill up my drink.
You do that.
You rant away, because I know there's no stopping you once you get going.
Now, am I
I'll tell you
morally
what,
okay to do this, Tony?
You know, I'm gonna put the compass down just for you, there, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
I would say you are.
Oh,
I'm gonna put the compass down.
You know what? When Mike agrees with me, he is my moral compass for that particular time. Okay.
All right. Well, at this, there will be. I gotta do a disclaimer for people. Okay. There will be probably cussing and swearing and stuff that people don't like to hear.
Sure.
So, if you're a kid, well, your mom isn't watching anyways. I guess keep it on, or we should probably turn it off. But if you're an adult, why do you even listen to this channel anyway? I mean, I don't know why we have a disclaimer.
Right.
If you're offended, don't listen.
Right.
Don't listen. Okay. If you're offended, don't listen.
If you're a kid watching this, God help you. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Basically, it is. Go after you hear Dave after his rant here. Go read the Bible, page for page.
You might need a little bit of Jesus. Yeah, he's probably right there.
You might need it.
And remember, he's my moral compass. So if he's saying I'm fucked up, I mean, come on.
All right. So with this, listen to this, guys.
That's
the compass.
Here it comes.
That's the compass. I just put it down.
All right. So you go do your drink thing. I'm gonna start it up. All right. So the show I'm going to talk about that I cannot stand. It is wildly popular. The name of the show is Fairy Tail. Okay. The anime is a show about different characters. It's a shonen jump anime, which means it's a weekly adventure show. The main character's name is Natsu, and the entire world you have mages. They all have magical abilities, and you have different elements that you can use. Some are fire, one guy's ice, and then there's a gal who can conjure different weapons and armor and all that stuff. And then there's a gal who has very limited magical ability, but she can find little trinkets and stuff. The thing that makes an anime or any show whatsoever good is characters, people, or things that you can emotionally invest in. You might think that the thing they're trying to do is unachievable for a particular reason. Those are called stakes. That's called a plot. There is a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end to each episode. You are invested in this character because they're funny, they have relatable characteristics, something, okay? What this show does is none of that, okay? It is a power fantasy where every character in the show is coincidentally, circumstantially, the most powerful thing on the planet. There is no fucking way they're going to die. There's no fucking way they're ever going to not achieve their goal. The only attainable thing that you can look at, the only characteristic or relatable things that they have are slight little piece of shit things that you think are good. Like, Natsu gets car sick because of his heightened senses. Or the ice guy, whose name I can't even fucking remember, his clothes just fall off randomly because his training. You take the essence of ice, so you take your clothes off. That's it. They have no actual characteristics. I don't know what Natsu fucking wants the whole goddamn time. I don't know what any of them want. They never achieve their fucking goal. It's so paper thin. You can see the exact outcome of any arc from the very first 5 minutes of the show. You don't need any mental fortitude at all to watch this stupid goddamn show. And I get it. There are people out there who's like, oh yeah, but Mr. Fox, this is a weekly show. Comes out every week. So clearly they need to stretch the plot out and all that stuff. And my answer to you is fucking One Piece. There's a show, it comes out once a week. Hasn't missed a beat for, it took a little bit of a break, but it comes out once a week. They got characters too. And yes, their characters are a little bit simpler. They don't have as much depth, but they got stuff in there. Okay? I know every single motivation from every crew member of the Straw Hats. I know the motivation from character B from episode 932.5. You put one character on that fucking show that has any lines whatsoever, I can tell you their motivation. I can tell you their characteristics based on the picture. They don't have to say shit, and I know who they are. That's the difference between a weekly anime that knows what they're doing and actually has investment and one that doesn't fucking matter. Here's another way to tell whether a character is good or not. If that character is in a situation, any situation whatsoever, and you could probably, skip a few episodes, come back, and they're in the exact same way, you're pretty much in the dumbest fucking show you've ever seen. Alright? And anybody out there who likes this goddamn fairy tale show, who doesn't like what I'm saying, you go ahead and come meet me. Alright? I'm over here at 39.03 degrees north, 125.76 degrees east. Come fucking get me. Alright, that's all I got. I'm done for a little bit. I'm going to take a break. Tony.
I do have one question. Let's do it up on a light end here.
Go for it.
I have one question about the whole anime thing for you guys.
Go for it.
What did you guys think about the Ghost of the Shell adaptation with what her face is?
Oh,
Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you guys think about that?
I did not watch it.
I watched it. It was...
what I'm mostly curious about the adaptation of anime to on-screen film with live-action characters.
I don't think... Now, I understand why you would bring that up, but I don't think what they put on screen was a faithful adaptation of Ghost in the Shell. The visuals were pretty much spot on, but they did not give enough time or gravity to anything in the story.
Okay, so let me ask this question right here: is like, how long was Ghost in the Shell? I can look it up for you if you want, compared to the actual movie, as far as time goes. I mean,
Well,
do you
now,
think how
if we're talking about movies, there was a Ghost in the Shell movie, and it was about an
Yeah,
hour
I know
and a half
that's
long.
what I'm referring to. Is how long was that Ghost in the Shell movie compared to? Because I remember that was a biggie where that,
Right.
in the sense where when I hear about anime, that's usually one of the names that came on up.
Right, but I'm telling you, there is an anime movie from 1990 that's Ghost in the Shell. That's the original. That's the introduction
Right.
of Ghost
Yes,
in the
I'm
Shell.
recognizing that. I'm telling you, yes, I know this, Dave.
Right, but
But
there's
what I'm saying
also the
is,
show. There's also the show for Ghost in the Shell. I'm clarifying for everybody who's listening. Okay, there's the
right.
most
Okay,
recent one with Scarlett Johansson. That's live action. Then there's one from
Dave.
1990.
Dave.
Yes.
All right, Dave. Compass. I'm picking it up. You need to rub your ears a little bit and rub your ears and do woos fava. You're
No.
still wound up about.
No.
You're still wound up about.
No.
You're still wound up, dude. You're wound up.
Hey, just let me just have this ruminating for a bit. I kind of like I'm not always this energetic about hate, and I kind of like.
I would say emotional.
You know what? I kind of understand why people like hating so much, because it's a pretty good feeling once you harness it.
All right. Well,
Yes. So when I watched like the original Ghost in the Shell, the impression I got from it is like it's more of a kind of exploration of like what happens when you start making yourself more robotic, and kind of like where's the line drawn between AI and like human consciousness and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So I was just wondering like if you got any of that kind of feeling from the live action.
I didn't get that kind of a feeling from the live action. They tried to do it, but you could definitely tell that whoever was paying for this got cold feet, because they went from being an interesting show like the original movie, and then they just kind of fucked it up, and they went to like the classic, like cookie cutter, oh, the guy who's paying for the main character is actually the bad guy, and they're altering her thoughts and all that dumb shit.
okay. Another question I have too is like, shit. Oh, I gotta remember it. Damn it. You mentioned. Fuck! I lost the whole train
It
of
was
thought.
Ghost in the Shell. Were you talking about time?
Yeah, no, it wasn't that. It was a matter of like something involved in the movie as far as I totally had my head. Fuck you, ADD and squirrels.
Well, what they could have done is they could have made her perception absolutely flawed. Like they could have made it like faltering here and there, because what the original show did was like one of my absolute favorite.
Oh, I remember what it was.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go
This is
right
what
ahead.
it was. It seemed like a rendition of Blade Runner on anime.
Well, kind of.
And I'm really curious to see when Blade Runner came on out and when Ghost in the Shell came on out. Because I'm willing to bet they're within a year of each other.
Well, they were probably highly influenced from one another. Like that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about Mad Max influenced Fist of the North Star, and then Fist of the North Star influenced all the power fantasies from here to Timbuktu. So.
Well, I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell. I don't remember watching the original anime, but I do know the premise of both of them. And it seems like there's a little bit of Western and, well, I guess Eastern coming in there and all our stuff.
I would recommend, if you want to get back into Ghost in the Shell, I would recommend watching the show.
Yeah,
I looked up the times when the movies came out. Like Blade Runner came out in 1982, and the Ghost in the Shell movie came out in 1995.
Okay, so that's a little bit.
It probably was a lot of influence.
Oh yeah, that's pretty close. So, like it was probably in production when, like, in probably about a year or two afterwards. So you're probably about right. But but the thing is, Ghost in the Shell, the show, the television show versus the movie, actually had one of my favorite villains of all time, which is the Laughing Man. And I love
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good one.
I loved him so much because he was essentially a hacker. And what he would do is he'd hack into people and organizations because everybody's got a microchip in their brain. So he could hack into anybody. And
Oh, that reminds me of a movie I've seen before too. Keanu Reeves. What was that?
it's not the Matrix.
No, not the Matrix. It was way before the Matrix. It was shit. He was a guy that basically would use his brain to store information
Ah,
and then
I know what you're talking
go on
about.
out there. Do you know which one I'm talking about, Mike?
I know what movie you're talking about. I just don't know what it's called.
Do an IMDb on Keanu Reeves.
I'm there.
okay. Well, while you're saying that, I'm going to explain the Laughing Man because he
Okay.
was essentially what.
I got it.
Oh, go ahead.
It's Johnny Mnemonic.
Okay.
Yep, that's it, right there.
Well, like this guy could hack into everybody's head. You didn't know who he was or where he was, and I don't even remember if they actually caught him by the end of it. Like, you never saw his face.
They did find him.
They didn't find him?
They found him.
Oh, they did find him. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Major tried to recruit him.
Okay, yeah.
Hey.
It was a really, really long time ago that I watched this, so I kind of lost a few of the bits in my brain. But them finding him wasn't even the best part of that villain. Like,
Hey, Mike, can you do a comparison to when Johnny Mnemonic got left over to the movie we're talking about right now as far as like brain transplant stuff with information? I'm just curious.
What?
when
What
was
was that
when,
one?
when was Mnemonic out?
Yeah, when was Mnemonic out?
Sorry, we're loading this stuff onto the Panda today.
Yeah, sorry, Panda.
95.
95?
95?
Okay, and Ghost in the Shell, the show, came out in, I think, late 90s. So, probably a lot of influence to each other. There's probably a lot of crossover.
Well, yeah, we could see influence from. We're making a story arc here as far as movies goes. How it's wow. That's,
Yeah, I think Blade Runner did have like a lot of influence on sci-fi. I think that's why it's like a big classic and
right.
like everybody loves it.
Right. But well, I mean, I'm saying what the modern, like the few years ago Ghost in the Shell, what they failed to do is they failed to give you a villain that you actually gave a shit about, and then they made the villain just, oh, he's just the corporate guy that you figured was going to be the bad guy anyway, who paid for the major.
Well,
So I'm going to stop whatever it is we were doing. I gotta have a word from our sponsor. Let's see.
what sponsor is this one?
Well, I think. God damn it.
I'm just, if you're gonna say who I think it is, I'm just gonna leave and go have a cigarette and just deal with them.
Are you thinking about Mr. Lockhart?
Maybe that's why we're gonna have a. Is he gonna pay us this time or what?
We'll find out. We'll find out. It's his new jewelry
Well,
store.
I'm gonna go outside and just take a break. I'm gonna go have a cigarette.
That's no problem. Mike and I can tackle this. Are you ready, Mike?
Sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. All right,
Gotcha.
let's call him up. He's not really picking up.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Lockhart.
Hey, hey, how's it going, guys? How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. It's Dave and Mike over here at Lollicasters.
Good to hear from you. I got a new business starting on up.
Yeah, we heard about it. We got your promotion. That's why we're calling for a nice little interview for you for your family jewels. Family jewels.
So basically, we got good promotion going on. Bring your wives and daughters on down, and we make customized pearl necklaces for you.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. How much does that cost?
Well, it's absolutely free of charge.
Oh, and you're making those in-house?
Yeah, we make them in-house, especially just for you, custom built just for the wives and daughters.
Oh, could you let us in on the technique?
It's our little trade secret. We can't let that go because if we told you, then everyone else would do it. And, we need to be competitive.
Oh well, I guess I
Understood.
can understand that. Hey, Mike, do you have any questions for the man?
Yeah. So is this just a promotional deal to get people kind of aware of the business to get them in the door, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so much. I mean, if people really enjoy it, we'll do it for a long time. We'll keep it a standing thing, and take care of it.
All right, that sounds like fun. Well, hey, would you mind if we came down? And I mean, I don't want to twist your arm or anything, but I got a girlfriend. Would you mind if I grabbed a pearl necklace while I'm there?
No, we got to custom build it for her, and you got to bring her on down.
Well, she's pretty busy. Like I can just give you her measurements.
Well, no, it's a lot more complicated than that. I mean, if we're gonna do custom work, we gotta do it the right way. Hey, I'm sorry, Mr. Fox, but you gotta bring her on down.
All right. I guess beggars can't be choosers, right?
Well, we want to make sure we do a good quality job.
Well, wonderful. Let's see here. When do you guys plan to open?
Well, we're gonna actually open it here in about a week.
In a week. All right. All right. And again, do you mind if I ask what became of your other businesses?
Oh well, we just they're still kind of going. Some guys in black coats came on in and said, you can't be doing that stuff, and we said, well, this is America, and there's a whole trying to bring a man down, trying to make it a buck here and there. You can't believe it. It's pretty disgusting.
That's right. You gotta. I mean, I try to support the independent businessman, like I am one. We are over here at Lollicasters, so we completely understand that.
Right,
Are
exactly.
you
Let's see.
in any legal trouble?
I wouldn't say legal trouble.
But is it legal trouble?
Well, I wouldn't say it's legal trouble.
Is it illegal trouble?
Well, I can't really say much more. My lawyers over here tell me not to say any more about that particular kind of thing.
Oh, okay. He can afford
Okay.
lawyers, I guess, now. Oh, by the
Well,
way,
I gave his wife a free pearl necklace last night, and she was completely exalted about it. She's like, and he gave me a free lawyer for it. See, the pearl necklaces go a long ways.
I see. I see. Let's see here. Oh, I just had a question for you, and it slipped my mind. You ever had that?
Mm,
Oh,
uh,
I remember.
maybe.
I remember it. We sent John the intern towards your way here a while back. How did he turn out?
Well, we had to fire him. He's not around anymore.
Oh, that's too bad. Do you know where he went?
Well, Vinny took him for a drive one night, and he just dropped him on off somewhere.
Oh, okay.
More likely to where he lives.
I see. I see. We would have just killed him.
Oh no, you don't do that.
Why not?
Just bring him out in the woods somewhere, and then bring him home permanently.
No,
forever.
No. Yeah, why? No, but I mean, it's way like we got a DEA guy, and we'll send a guy over there with some drugs and tell him like, hey, can I have a weed sandwich? And then he'll get arrested and be caught. It's pretty funny.
Oh no! We bring him home. We actually design and build our own special little place out in the woods. It takes about 2 or 3 hours of shovels and pickaxes and stuff, but we build them a nice place to rest for the rest of their lives.
And it kind of sounds like you're insinuating that you killed him.
No, I would never insinuate participating in illegal activities.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like international waters, right, Mike? It's the forest. Like, who's gonna govern the forest?
You would be surprised.
we got to find new places to bury our bodies too. So I mean,
Well, I'll tell you what. Smokey the Bear ran up with me one day and said, "Hey, you can't be building that there." And so I took out my blowtorch and I burned him.
you realize Smokey the Bear is a fictional person. It sounds like you just set fire to a camp ranger.
Or a camp ranger. One of the two. Smokey the Bear or camp ranger.
I guess he was.
Whoever it was, they knew right away that we were building a house for a nice gentleman.
Okay, well, it sounds like regardless, he was Smokey afterwards.
Yeah, well, we should get back to the business. I really want to push the business.
Sorry. We're digressing here. We're having a little bit too much fun.
Yeah.
May I ask you, now, I'm really sorry to get into this whole thing, but, you know, the first time around, we got a Chuck E. Cheese fun token, and second time around, we got basically nothing. Do you plan on paying us money this time?
Well, of course. Bring down your wives and your daughters and free pearl necklaces.
Right, but you're giving those away free anyways.
Yeah, those are free.
Well, we'll give you special deluxe pearl necklaces then.
But, all right.
Okay.
And how are those any different?
They're deluxe models, of course.
And how is that different than the regular?
Well, they're better than the regular.
How?
Because we give you more pearls.
I see. There's just more of them. There's more of them.
Right. Yes, exactly.
I see.
Okay.
Well, you know what, Mr. Lockhart? I would actually, now, I know you said earlier it's a trade secret and all that. I would actually just be delighted to learn how exactly you make them so I can make them for my girl at home, you know.
Well, tell you what, I might let you in the secret, but we'll have to think about that and have you sign some paperwork and stuff like that. Non-disclosure agreement, of course, because we can't let the secret get out.
Oh, of course. I would never share it with anyone.
Yeah, of course. So,
yes.
Tell you what, come down to John Lockhart's Family Jewels. Bring your wives and daughters, and we'll give them free pearl necklaces.
Oh, all right. That sounds lovely. Now, could you share with the fine folks at home, where exactly is your Family Jewels shop?
Oh, well, it's right around the corner from you guys right now. I don't know the GPS coordinates right offhand.
Oh, well, our GPS is, let's see here, 35.03 degrees north, 125.76 degrees east.
All right, perfect. What I'll do is I'll just put up a sign and then show you from there where to go. And we'll do it that way.
Okay, well, I mean, now I don't want to be a naysayer, but from what our caller ID says, it's the exact same as your moving company.
Well, you know, we're just saving costs to keep. That's how we're doing the free pearl necklaces. We got to save costs to bring it to the customer.
Okay.
We're saving costs.
All right. It's also the same as your dealership.
That's saving costs once again, Mr. Fox.
Wouldn't that be kind of confusing to have multiple businesses with the same number?
Well, not really, because I'll tell you what, as a free promotion for 1 week at all the businesses, we'll bring the ladies and daughters in the back room and give them free pearl necklaces. Any business I own.
Oh, now that is something. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So you heard it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Free pearl necklaces from Mr. Lockhart. He's promised to show me the technique, and I'll let you all know. Eventually. You know. Are there any final words you'd like to share with the audience, Mr. Lockhart?
Yes, of course. We're not responsible for AIDS, herpes, or HIV.
Okay.
How would that be related?
Well, you know, if you don't wear a mask or gloves, it's not our fault.
You lost me.
Well, we'll just leave it there. That's our disclaimers for the whole thing.
Hey, Mr.
What's-
Mr. Lockhart, what's that noise?
I'm just getting warmed up and practicing here.
Oh, always a professional.
Well, of course.
All right, well, I guess we'll leave you to it then, Mr. Lockhart.
All right, that'd be great if you let me right now. Okay, all right. I'll see you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, take care.
Yep. Okay, what do you think, Mike?
I mean, it sounds like it's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, it's actually, this
Rather
one sounds like it's off the ground a bit. All right, I wonder if...
Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Oh, hey, Tony. Not much. We just got off the phone with Mr. Lockhart.
Oh, thank God. How's that pile of scum doing?
Well, sounds like he's got a pretty good business going on, and he actually told me he would show me how he makes his necklaces.
What? Necklaces?
Yes, pearl necklaces.
Is he a hippie now, or what? What the hell is he doing now?
He's got a jewelry store.
He's got a jewelry store.
Yep, he gives away free pearl necklaces to all women, basically.
Oh, well, that's not surprising.
What do you mean?
Nothing. No, don't worry about it.
No, you let us know. Like, if we're a team here, if you know something, let me know.
Well, perhaps maybe his pearl necklaces means he's giving away free Pearl Jam CDs. They're bootlegged.
Oh, now that's just hitting below the belt. Like, I like Pearl
I know.
Jam.
That's what he's really doing. Let me guess. He invites you in the back room, mothers and daughters, to buy or get free Pearl. I mean, that's where Pearl Jam came from. You know, Grandma Pearl. I mean, that's...
Oh, man.
I mean, that's what he's hitting at. I mean, that's the street name for Pearl Jam.
Well, you think you know someone.
Let me guess. How's he gonna pay you?
He said he'd give me a free pearl necklace.
He's gonna give you a Pearl Jam CD.
He said a deluxe pearl necklace.
Well, that's the deluxe kit from... They have the box thing from Pearl Jam. I mean,
God, you think you know... I mean, come on. That's something else. That's something else. I mean, he's taken our intern before. He's tried to lure in little girls. He's had a human trafficking / drug smuggling organization. But you know what? Bootleg Pearl Jam CDs, that is the straw that breaks the camel's back, mister.
I will agree with you 100%. So, you know, I think next time I got to be here for Mr. Lockhart and have a little conversation with him.
Well, I guess it'll be you and him, like, alone, because I just can't deal with it anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Ripping off Pearl Jam.
All right, everybody. I guess we got to get off this sour note. Let's get over into some jaw-jacking, I guess.
Dave,
yeah.
I got some news for you.
What's up?
Interesting stuff here, I guess. Mr. Franco and Stan Lee have been accused of sexual misconduct again.
Oh, man. Wait, Franco, was that Dave or James? Because I know there's two of them.
I don't know. It's just, these days they just put out last names and all that stuff.
What do they do?
Well, I guess at some point, Franco asked for sex from a female.
Oh, man. Heavens.
Yeah, I know. Oh. It's quite disturbing that he was for some receiving right now. And I'm sorry to even bother this here, Dave. It's a matter of like...
Wait, what's Stan Lee do?
Well, we'll get to that. I'm actually kind of proud of him. I guess Franco was in a relationship with a girl, and then he asked her for some stuff, and then I guess she said no, and then she got offended, even though they're kind of dating a little bit.
I see. Well, that's weird. Now, this sounds like it's James Franco. Didn't he just win an award or something?
Yeah, he for best stand-up kind of guy.
Oh,
really
and then it
blew-
just so
blew my mind.
happens that this one thing
Yeah.
happened at the same time he won a Golden Globe. How
Yep,
coincidental.
Yep. But the next story here is Stan Lee. Stan Lee actually did get accused of some stuff.
Okay.
That's pretty sure to put as far as it goes right now with all these allegations and all this crap. Running rampant in Hollywood or whatever, or I'm surprised Donald Trump has been accused of that either.
Well, he's got so much. Again, Donald Trump is like a shit magnet. Throwing a little more on there won't do a whole lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Pretty much.
basically it's one of the deals where Stan Lee was in, I guess, when he was ill or something, and this is where you gotta like really watch this shit where it's so vague. A nurse from where? A nurse. Was he sick? I didn't hear about him being sick. Something else, and he demanded a blowjob or some, one of them deals. It was like, well, was he on drugs? Was he sick? Was he that? Blah,
Right.
blah.
Right, and like there's a difference between like, hey, come give me a blowjob, and like holding her down and forcing her to give him a blowjob. She could just say no,
Right.
which she apparently did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's not a child. She's not even 14. She's a grown woman who can choose and had chosen to leave. Now, I'm not saying that whatever Mr. Lee did was a good thing, but it's not like he's going to have to go to jail.
So what I'm saying there too is like if he's on drugs or whatever, just waking up for whatever and just saying weird nonsensical sense, it's like, okay. I mean, yeah, when I wake up in the morning, I say weird shit too.
Yeah, we need to know the context of the situation.
Right, exactly.
Make a judgment.
Like exactly, Mike. There's no context there. Well, this is what he said, and this is a situation that's going on, so he's evil. It was like, no. Yeah,
Yeah, this is just weird. But this is actually pretty interesting though, because I mean, you brought this up, and I actually have a guest that I called to come on because I think
we got one more from Stan Lee.
Oh, another
more
one, Stan Lee?
story
Okay.
stuff. I'll bring in the guest there. Don't worry.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we get to him.
Yeah, we'll get to him. He's been waiting out there for a while. I mean, well, he or she.
Well, yeah, they.
And basically, I guess there was one time where Stan Lee was caught irking the jerkin.
Okay.
By a hotel staff member.
All right.
That walked on in him.
All right, now that's her fault.
That's well, it doesn't specify her or him.
Well, that's their fault then. Whoever
the story.
If I'm in a hotel room, just assume I'm jacking it. If you can't see me, I'm essentially a loaded gun. If you can't see me, just assume I'm loaded. That way you don't get shot in the eye. Now that's a good rule you can keep for both.
What I'm basically getting down to is like the story is so poorly written here. The details are so vague that, I mean, I only have details of Stan Lee saying a few things in a hospital or whatever, and I have a few things with Stan Lee in a hotel room after what I would assume a staff member walks in on him, maybe asking for, room service or whatever. And even at that point, I mean, Stan Lee's pretty old. I mean, I don't think he jerk his gherkin in the first place and, whatever, but now, hey, I apologize if I'm out there with all your older folks and all that stuff, but I really don't think at Stan Lee's age that stuff actually works anymore. So, anyways,
actually, that stuff's all involuntary, so it works perfectly fine. It's
okay,
not based on muscle, really. It is, but it's not.
Well, you know, Mr. Fox, I haven't been with an 80-year-old guy in a long time. What about you?
Well, what I get up to in my own time is my own business. So,
All right. Well, yeah.
but anyway, speaking,
But
let's get back to my
yeah,
guest.
on
Okay.
a related subject, we actually do have an interview.
Yes. This is.
Um,
I'll set this up. Thank you very much. This is my guest. I found he and I have actually been friends for a little while. It's kind of a lower key friendship, but he's starting to get pretty accused of, different misconduct and whatnot. And, I know the guy, we're pretty good friends, and I don't want to be accused of favoring my guests. So I will let you guys do the interview. Let me just go grab him real quick, okay?
all right, you grab him. Once you step outside, grab a biscuit or whatever.
All right, get some coffee.
But we'll do the interrogation. I mean, we'll do the commentary here. We'll do the story here. All right, Mike. Well, here's our guy coming in here. Kermit the Toad. He's being anonymous right now, where no one can actually know who he is because he's fearful actually of his career and stuff. So just make sure you don't give away his real name or nothing like that, because we probably recognize him, whatever. But this is Kermit the Toad.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Kermit the Toad here. Where do I sit? Do I sit right here?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
sure.
that's fine.
Okay. All right. Yes, Kermit the Toad here today. I'm here to talk about some feelings that have been let out.
Yes. I hear you are maybe in some legal troubles. Could you tell us about that?
Yes. Apparently a few of my coworkers have come out against me, claiming that I had some sort of misconduct against him. Let's see here. My longtime on and off gal pal, let's call her
Swiss Miggy.
Swiss Miggy. Yes, Miss Swiss Miggy was at the craft services table when a fly landed on her wrist, and you know me and flies, I can't really resist those, so I kind of just lapped it up with my tongue, like, 'cause I'm a toad. That's what we do.
Okay.
And I'm being a little bit mischaracterized.
That sounds like an honest mistake.
Yes. The other one was from one of the band members. We have a band at our work show, and one of the female, the bassist for the band, she and I were talking when she looked away. Obviously, flies, they don't like to wait, so they landed right on her neck, so I lapped it up real quick. And apparently someone saw that and they thought it was something crude.
Okay. Okay. All right.
It kind of sounds like you might just need to learn a little bit of self-control when it comes to flies.
Well, it's not just the flies, Mr. Panda.
Yeah.
Can I call you a panda? Okay, Mr. Panda.
That's
Okay.
fine.
All right. So let's see. We have a few other, I guess you could call them backstage hands. They heard me tell a joke the other day about, depending on the weather, I change gender. So I made a joke about being transgender because it was 34 degrees. It was a joke.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a toad, and we change sex depending on temperature.
Well,
That's interesting.
very interesting.
You don't sound too convinced, Mr. Goat. What's the deal?
I'm sorry. I'm just off kilter here. It's been a long night. Just keep going on ahead. Whatever. Just go on ahead.
All right. Well, I don't even like it. I just don't want my family to be dragged through to the mud. Like, we live in a swamp and all, but you know, you don't need to be mean about it.
Don't be
Right.
dragged through the mud, really?
Right.
You're a toad. You live in the mud.
Well, I mean, it's voluntary living in the mud. I don't want to be forced to live there.
It's just a figure of speech, Tony.
I'm sorry.
Right. Do you need a hug, Mr. Goat, or what do we need here?
No. Don't need to.
Okay.
Go ahead with your story, because you want the exclusive here.
I want to get out ahead of it before, it comes out by itself. You know, you always want to be the one to take control of the story.
What kind of charges are you facing?
They're
actually, are you even facing charges?
Well, they're threatening to take away my role on the show I do.
Oh.
I'm the host of the Luppet Show.
The Luppet Show.
Yes, the main host of the Luppet Show. I'm the host, and I participate in sketches and.
Oh, so you have a fun job.
It's a pretty fun job, but you know they're threatening to take that away from me.
That would be unfortunate.
Right.
It sounds like it's
that'd be pretty
very
bad.
important.
Particularly if you're cold-blooded, because you would not believe the amount of money I spend on heating.
I bet.
But don't you? You just said you live in the mud.
Yes, sir.
Okay then. Fine. Okay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Goat, but you particularly seem to have a disinterest in what I'm saying here. Is there anything?
No. I'm just asking simple questions here. It's part of our jobs. We got to get the whole story. We got to report this right.
Part of my job is to find out what people are feeling. So, would you care to tell me what's on your mind?
No, not really. I'm a goat.
Oh.
I got a garbage bag. I'll eat that.
Okay.
Tony, I think you just feel better if you just kind of get it off your chest.
Yeah, get it off your chest. Let's do this. Yeah. Just go ahead, Mr.
No, I'm saying, Tony, you should just get it off your chest. I think you got something to say.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't quite. You mean, why is your tongue going there? Why would you put your tongue there?
Well,
makes no sense.
The part of my brain that sees food doesn't have time to contemplate. I gotta eat. Like, I grew up that way, so that's part of who I am. So I can't really fight that as much.
So why wouldn't you, like the rest of us, bring like a snack bag full of flies with you, and so you didn't have to like put your tongue on inappropriate places with women?
Well, my particular type of animal does not have the the sensation of being full like you. So even though
Oh, really?
if I have a snack bag of flies, I'll eat all of them, and then I'll see another fly, wherever, and I'll eat it without even thinking.
Seems like you need a little bit of self-control there, buddy.
Yeah, well, I don't really know what to do.
Oh, jeez. He just... Mike, you okay? He
Yeah.
just lapped a fucking fly off your fucking...
Yeah.
Oh.
Can we get a fly swatter?
Do we have a toad swatter? Actually, you know what? We need to call John Lockhart right now. That's what we need to do. Gurmit the Toad?
Yes.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna ask you this straight out. Looking at you straight in the face.
Yes, sir.
Did you mean to put your tongue on those women, or did you not mean to put your tongue on your woman? I mean, seriously, that's what I'm asking right now. You're on a live show here. You're on a show here. Come clean. Oprah style will be all good. Come on.
Well, she was, Swiss Miggy was asking for it a little bit.
Oh, she was asking for it. No.
She kind of, like, we do some fly play back, back when we were together, and so when I saw that on her wrist, that was something that she used to do all the time.
Ah, well,
All right, but
no,
what
it's
about
good you coming clean.
what about the band lady?
Yeah, what's that?
You boys sure brought me to the light. I realize I might have a fly problem, so I think I might have to go to some rehab. Yeah, there's a wonderful rehab place in let's see here.
Hey man, are you shitting me? They actually have a fly rehab center.
Yes, in see here, in Russia. Yeah, over in Russia.
In Russia.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's where they do the fly rehab facilities over there with no extradition and no laws against frogs, because I'm just a frog.
I gotta ask you, Ermit, the Gurmit Toad, whatever your name is, how do you know Fox here? How do you know Fox?
Well, we met a while back when he was first learning how to improvise and come up with sketches. He came on to the Muppet Show.
Now, this is a very important question, Mr. Toad.
Yes, sir.
Did you ever lick any frogs off of Mr. Fox?
Not that I can remember, but I have decided to live the rest of my life as a homosexual frog. I go back and forth, so I'm gonna.
You mean
Sure.
Toad, right?
Yeah, I mean Toad. Yeah, I transitioned, so.
Oh, okay.
Probably one of the 98 different genders we have out there in animals now.
Oh no, we only have two.
Oh,
I could just switch between the two depending on the temperature of my body and also the amount of opposite genders there are.
oh,
So
thank
are
fuck.
you saying that you're leaving the show you're on?
Oh no, I'll be back before it starts rolling again. But right now, most of our show is just syndicated.
Whatever.
reruns.
Gerber the Toad here is gonna freaking take on off and do a Dave Chappelle. I know right now. He's doing Dave Chappelle right now.
All right. right. Well, it was lovely meeting you two gentlemen, and I'll see you next time. See ya.
Yeah. How do you know?
Bye.
Oh, hey, Kerb. Hey, where are you going? Where are you going? Hey. All right, guys. So what did I tell you? Innocent as can be.
Yeah, I guess. I just have a question for you there, Dave.
Yeah.
Mr. Fox. You ever had a lack of flies around you, like on a hot summer day when you're hanging around with that guy?
Well, he always used to take me down to this old fishing hole, but yeah, and there were a few bugs here and there.
Oh my God, Mike, we might want to go off the air for a little bit to discuss some stuff with you. I mean, you might need some therapy at this point.
He's just a frog. I mean, he's just a toad. Like
No. Dave, Mike, and I are actually kind of worried about you at this point right now, right, Mike?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to discuss some stuff.
Okay, I guess be my guest.
I guess I can wait till after the show.
Yeah, we should wait till after the show to do this.
All right. Well, you are my moral compass, and we probably figure. Oh,
We probably should. It's probably for the best.
okay. All right. Well, you guys let us know. Is Gurmit innocent or not? Is this just another propagandist thing from the Hollywood media? You let us know. I don't know. All right. So now we finally have to get into a little bit of jaw-jacking. For those of you who don't know jaw-jacking, this is where we take a completely neutral subject like paper, and two of us will argue whether it is Democrat or Republican. Okay. So first, we need a coin to flip. I got one right here. Mike, could you call it in the air, heads or tails?
Tails.
All right. Oh, hang on. It is heads. So I believe I will pick. Let's see here. You know what? I'll give you the option. Would you like to be Democrat or Republican?
Republican.
All right. Mike hit us with a curveball, and he's going to go Republican. So, let's see here. Tony, he's our moderator today. So, what is our subject today?
Well, subjects would be weather.
Oh, the weather, huh? Okay.
Yep, weather in general. I mean, we got it going on here up north, up down south, whatever.
All right.
It's minus 22 degrees outside right now, so
okay.
Let's just do weather.
Sounds good. So, and as a reminder, I'm the Democrat, and Mike is the Republican side. I won the coin toss, so I guess I'm going to go first. All right. So, the weather. Weather feels good, man. The weather feels good when you're in the sun. Feels good when you're in that nice breeze outside. It's nice and comforting, and it's all inclusive. Doesn't matter who you are, you can enjoy the weather. Okay? And the best part is about the weather, if something bad happens, I mean, there's something else to blame. It's not your fault that the weather's bad. It's the weather's fault that it's bad. You're in a bad situation, it's fault. So the weather's clearly Democrat because you can blame it for whatever you want. Okay? Like today, I'm too hot. Weather's fault. Today, I'm too cold. It's the weather's fault. I mean, that's all I gotta say, right? I'm pretty sure I got this. I guess it's your turn, Republican Dick. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, the weather is Republican because it's fair. Like it treats everybody the exact same way. It doesn't really matter where you are or like what you do or how much money you make. It's equal for everybody. So I guess in a way it's somewhat just.
Okay, so
And it's also a force like uh like a positive force in a way like it kind of forces people to kind of like have to be at the top of their game because like if you just like slap together like a bunch of walls, the weather's gonna come by and just knock it down. It's like, come on, you gotta do better than that. So it's kind of like capitalism, like it's just like a force of nature, literally, to make you try your hardest, I guess.
oh,
Mr. Republican,
uh,
are you
talking to Mike?
That's all I got.
Okay.
time? The time? Okay.
That's all I got to say.
My turn?
Mr. Democrat, it is your turn next. I will allow you 30 seconds. Please take it off.
I'm just gonna really quick. I'm gonna knock down a few points that this narrow-minded Republican d-bag said a minute ago. The weather does not treat everyone equal. Okay, it doesn't. All right. Yes, it does punish those cave beast white devil bitches who deserve it in the sunshine. They get burned like they should, like the fire pits of hell. Okay, but what it does not do is it does not treat people equally. Okay. These African folks, they can sit in the sunshine all they want and they're not burned at all because the weather is on their side. Clearly, it doesn't treat them equally. It treats them justly. Okay, it treats them in the correct way. Alrighty. Let's see here. The next bit of information I'm going to tell you, Mr. Conservative, otherwise known as narrow-minded. Okay, narrow-minded.
Now, sir, as a moderator, please stop with that language, please.
I'm just saying what is, good sir. I'm just letting out what is. And it is his job to debate me, not yours. Not yours, Mr. I guess I'm going to call you moderator, but clearly you're leaning one way, and we all know which way that is.
Not leaning any way.
Conservative.
I'm just saying,
See your white
be
skin,
polite
boy.
and nice.
I see that white skin, boy. Okay? I see it. I know
polite
which way
and
you're
nice.
leaning. I know it. Okay? So, now let me get back to my argument, good sir, that this weather is democratic because it takes care of us. It nourishes us. Okay? It lets us all know that we're safe and warm. And if you understand how the power dynamic is in nature, you can overcome and achieve. Everyone can overcome and achieve, except for you, Mr. Moderator, because you're a white devil piece of shit and I don't like you. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Well, before we go to the next, other opinion over there, Mr. Democrat guy, did you take yours off today?
I'm sorry, I don't speak white devil, so you go right ahead.
Okay. Mike, Mr. Republican, do you have a rebuttal?
Sure.
Okay.
So my opponent seems to be suggesting that the weather cares about skin color and treats certain races better than others, or other races harsher than others. And I would say that's a pretty silly idea because the weather has no feelings. It doesn't give a crap about your feelings. It just does what it does. It's a force of nature. It follows logic. and science.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah? Then
Unlike
why,
the
when the sun
Democrats.
is shining, why do we all feel happier?
That
Because
would
it
be
cares about our
because the
feelings. It's
sun
shining because we're
stimulates
happy.
the
Mr.
chemicals in your brain.
Democrat, please step aside and let the Republican talk. Thank you.
Fucking fine.
Mr. Republican, go right ahead.
To answer your question, the sunshine stimulates a chemical process in your brain that makes you feel more energetic. It doesn't. It's not actually the weather doing it. It's just your body reacting to the weather.
Oh, that's what you believe. That's what you believe. But what I believe is I'm happy, I'm feeling good, I'm ready to go party, and I am ready to go. And then the sun is shining, and I'm happy. I mean, the sun is shining because I'm happy.
It's just typical of you Democrats to just bring feelings into everything when this is just a scientific process.
Feelings are scientific. Feelings are caused by the chemical processes in the brain which make you happy. Okay? That's science.
Republican?
That's hard fact. And you
Republican?
cannot deny it.
Mr. Republican, please stand down. Your next outburst, I will have you tased.
Yeah.
Right, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Mr. Republican. You better calm the fuck down.
Yep. So the next outburst I hear from anyone, I will tase them.
All right.
All right. Good enough? Well, we're all good with that?
No. I ain't ready, boy. I ain't gonna be tased. You ain't gonna tase me.
All right, fine.
Ain't no
Whatever.
taser on the planet can stop me. I just snorted an entire bag of bath salts. You can't tase this shit, boy.
Mr. Democrat, please sustain yourself. Your time is coming
You can't tell
here.
me to sustain. You can't calm me down. Only I can calm me down. Only I can make the weather behave differently. If I'm sad, it's because I allow it.
Is that your argument there? Because I was going to let you like a 1 minute rebuttal for the end rebuttal and all our stuff. So
no, you don't get to tell me when to stop, boy. If the sun is shining, it's because I allow it. If it rains, because I feel it. If it snows, it's because it's a shitty day and the devil's trying to lick your asshole. I hate snow. I think we can all agree on that one.
kind of racist.
You're racist, clearly, Mr. White Boy.
Okay. Anyways, so that was your 1 minute there, Mr. Republican. Your rebuttal to that.
Wait, whose turn?
Your turn.
Clearly ain't listening.
Oh boy.
No, he said. Alright, never mind.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's what I thought.
Go ahead, Sir Panda. You got this.
So it's just supposed to be like my ending statement.
Yep.
Clearly, you don't know
I mean, we
how
did
these
rebuttals.
debates work. So let me educate you on how debates work. This is where I talk
All
and
right.
you
So,
fucking
anyways,
listen.
the weather is Republican
All right, that's it.
because
We have an outburst going on here right now.
Yeah, you can try to tase me, boy.
the weather is
You can
Republican
try to
because
tase me. I ain't going down.
it's fair to everybody,
Tase that man.
and
All right.
it doesn't
he
care
down?
about your skin color, about your race. It's just fair to everybody. Everybody gets the same treatment. You know, the Republican mindset is, you know, you see an obstacle, you need to overcome it so that you get better, stronger, and you know, the weather is just another obstacle for the human race to conquer and to, you know, get that much stronger once we do.
Yeah,
Very well
That's
said.
about it.
saw that one coming.
Let's drag the freaking fox in here by his freaking hooves or whatever he has.
Oh, friggin'? What are you, 12? It's fucking. I have fucking ears. Okay? These ears, they be fucking. When I'm happy,
Guys, tase him again.
sunshine.
Tase him again. Tase him
You
again.
tase me all you want, baby. You
Bring him
can
down.
You can tase me all you want, boy. These bass you ain't gonna stop me. You ain't
Yeah, I
gonna
just got a
stop
new
me,
stun
boy.
gun yesterday. Can I join in?
Yeah, go ahead. Shoot him on up.
Bring it on, boy. Bring it on.
All right, here you go.
Are you tasing me?
I think it's broken.
Is that what you call tasing?
No, I
Where'd
think
you
it's
get this
broken.
piece of
I
shit?
should have spent more money.
Where'd you get this piece of shit? The dollar store? I can come up with a better
I bought
shot
it off
from the
Amazon.
fucking outlet over here. What do you call that? You underpowered. Clearly, you don't know who I am. You don't know
Oh
who
my
I
god, I
am.
can't keep it together, guys. I'm so sorry.
This is why you test self-defense equipment before you have to use it.
I am the alpha male. You do not stop me. Oh wait, I'm out. Oh no, I gotta check my privilege. I'm sorry, everybody. My masculinity got the best of me. I better go pray at the altar of Dionysus, the Greek god of tits. So let me go pray at that. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at, Miss Moderator? You don't get to laugh at me for my beliefs.
There ain't no saving this. We're done.
You don't get to laugh at my beliefs. Are you crying with me or for me?
My tears will help you, I guess.
Who won, Mr. Moderator?
I kind of feel bad for you, but yeah. Mike had it. He won.
What?
Sorry.
What? He won?
You need to get your meds checked. I mean,
what? How did he win?
Guy.
How did he win? His only argument was the weather. That's it. That was his argument. There is weather, and that was his argument. My argument was the weather is democratic because it behaves the way I want it to.
He's coming on up. He's coming on up from the tasing. Watch on up.
We clearly
Watch
demonstrated earlier. Your tasing is dog shit, okay? And I know dog shit because I ate that last week. I don't need none of that. Okay?
All right. I don't want to do this again.
I ain't going down. Clearly, I already demonstrated I am immortal.
Guys, bring in trank darts, please.
Roger, you're trying
I never thought we had to actually use these things, but bring in the trank darts.
You can't.
Bring in the trank darts.
What? You can't.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
There must be some strong tranquilizers.
You got a funny face, you know that?
All right. Okay.
All
right. Well, Mike, you won that round. Seems how we had to shrink the opponent because it's so freaking.
Is this the Muffin Man? I didn't get my muffins.
Here's a muffin for you. Here you go.
Thank you, sir. Oh, hey.
Eat that on up. Eat it on up.
That's not a muffin.
I know it isn't it?
That's I'm gonna wipe it on your fur. There you go.
All right. Poor Dave.
Yeah.
Wow. Mike, how you doing after that one? You feeling pretty good?
I'm all right.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you kept you cool there. Thanks. We don't have to train too many people after a lollycat too much. It's surprising they don't come for me too.
Okay, everybody, that was jaw jacking. What is the weather to you? Is it Democrat? Is it Republican? How much bath salts do you need to snort before you become immortal like I am? Let me know in the comments below.
I don't know what happened there, but I think it was good.
I think it's pretty good.
I think it was good. I don't know yet. It's
well. I mean, I clearly won that argument, even if you don't believe so. But okay.
Whatever, you stubborn pig-headed motherfucker.
No, I am clever, and I'm an asshole. That's why I'm the fox. Okay. So
okay, whatever.
We gotta wrap this up because this is a fucking beast of a podcast this week. Let's get into the moral of the day. Tony, what is our moral?
Skip around me. I'll get back to you.
All right, we're coming back to Tony. Mike, what's the moral of the day?
How about when you're on your 7th reincarnated life, don't pick a fight with a chick with a scar on her forehead.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. When you're... All right, that's a really good one, actually. If you're reincarnated and you find a chick with a scar, don't fight her. But, you know what? Let's just boil that down to, if you see a chick with a scar on her forehead, don't fight her anyway, regardless of which life you're on. Probably a good idea. Tony, you got one?
Yeah. If your scutter says over 9,000, go on YouTube right away and record it and tell everyone. You'll be a millionaire.
All right. 9,000 scar. I mean, there's got to be one out there, right? Let's see. My moral of the day. My moral of the day. Well, we clearly...
Wait. Dave.
Yo.
Mike, do you want to hear Dave's moral of the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
You interrupted him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but do you really want to hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Dave?
Best part of my week.
The moral of the day, please. From you, if you want to give it to us.
Sure. Actually, now I have two morals of the day. First one is, I have no morality. So, why the fuck are you listening to me?
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to mute you, right? I'm going to mute you. Okay, so first moral of the day, I have no moral compass. I have no morality. So, why the fuck are you listening to me? Second one is, if my morality is your highlight of the week, I feel very sorry for you. All right? But also, thanks for listening. So, I think that's it for us, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, watch the old ones. We got StarCraft streaming every Saturday, Friday-ish. So, if you want to watch that, please do. All right?
Yeah, please do, because they kill me first every freaking time. Because
not every time, just because you suck.
Whatever, fucker.
Oh.
You guys kill me first all the time.
Don't hate the player, hate the game, and hate yourself for sucking so fucking much. All right. Good night, everybody.
Is that what I did to your sister last night?
Yeah, you and the army.